At a time when much of Asia is reconciling itself to the regional dominance of China and increasing the political distance from the United States, India is going the other way. Not only it is closer than ever to Uncle Sam, but is also making a more intensive effort to balance China in the Indo-Pacific region. According to the director of the Institute of South Asian Studies, Raja Mohan, the reorientation of India's power relation is driven by two factors: the consistent growth of the importance of China and Prime Minister Narendra Modi's success in overcoming the anti-United States sentiment in the Indian political establishment. Let's not forget that China and India have been close for decades, but the importance of China in the recent decades has become an important challenge for India. With the recent conflict between China and America, the United States has become a handy ally for India. Another component is the border between the two countries. Both nations claim ownership of Tibet and Xinjiang. In Delhi's point of view is simple. The disproportionately stronger China is, the lower are India's chances of settling the dispute over the territories. And this is already reflecting on trade policies, because last year alone, India ran a deficit of roughly $50 billion with China. So now, the United States is closer than ever. India is buying more United States defense equipment, for example. More specifically, $20 billion more in the past 20 years. This is at least an attempt of India's to show strength to the global community. Also, it doesn't hurt the fact that trade between India and America reached $160 billion last year. This growing proximity seems to be fracturing part of India's internal politics. The Communist Party doesn't like the idea of this alliance, but doesn't see a way out of it. But the biggest opposition comes from the government itself. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Defense, and Internal Affairs are skeptical about these close ties with Washington. Despite the internal problems, this proximity with the United States seems to be impossible to move away from, especially after inviting Barack Obama when he was the sitting president. Not only that, but it honored him as a guest at India's annual Republic Day celebrations. This was previously inconceivable. At the end of the day, India doesn't have too many options but to compete with China and have a difficult confrontation. At the same time, the United States and China will always try to have a mutual accommodation that might not always be interesting for India. Therefore, developing a stronger ties with one other middle powers like France, Japan, Vietnam, Indonesia should always be a card in Prime Minister Modi's sleeve. Our team tried to reach authorities from the Chinese, Indian, and American governments on the phone for comments. But because of the coronavirus pandemic, the diplomatic representations were unavailable to answer any inquiries at this time. I am João Freitas from Miami for Digpu News Network.